Our next example for solving for y, again, our goal is to get it so that it's in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. This next example is a pretty straightforward one where, again, the y term is already isolated on one side of the equation, but it's not quite alone yet because we have a 3 in front of the y. So to get rid of the 3 that's in front of y, we're going to do the inverse operation of this multiplication, which is to divide everything by 3. So every single term of our equation needs to be divided by 3. So now what's going to happen is we're going to have 3y divided by 3 leaves us with just y. So we're going to have y equals 15 divided by 3 gives us 5x. And then this 12 divided by 3 at the end here will be 4, but we will have a minus 4. And that would be it. So this makes it, again, the whole purpose of doing this is it makes it a lot easier for graphing. So the y-intercept would be -4, so that's our b value. The slope in front of x is 5, so we would go to -4 on the y-axis, and then starting at -4, using the slope, we'd move up 5 to the right 1 and continue that pattern to get all these points that help us create our line. So it's a lot easier to graph our equations when they're in this form. Number 5, again, is a little bit more involved than the last example, so they kind of vary in difficulty as we move through these examples. Number 5, I would start this one out by taking away x from this left-hand side so that it moves over to the right-hand side of the equation to join the 2x over here. So we're going to start off by subtracting x from both sides. So now we'll have 5y minus 10 equals 1x, or just x. So again, you can combine these because they are like terms. And then now we have a couple more steps to go in order to get the y alone on one side of the equation. So to move closer to that goal, we need to add 10 in our next step because we are subtracting 10 from that term and we want that to go away. So now we'll have 5y equals, this is going to be x plus 10 because, again, you cannot combine those. Those are not like terms. And then we have one more step to get y alone, which is to divide everything by 5. So now we have y equals, and there's a couple of options for how you can write this next one. You can write it as x over 5. I'm going to write it as 1/5 x, just so that way if we were to have to graph this equation, it's a lot easier to see the slope when we write it as this fraction out front. So I'm going to write that as 1/5 x, and then 10 divided by 5 would be 2. And that would be this equation up here, now in slope-intercept form. The next example is going to be, we have 8x minus 4y equals -4. This is actually one that is in standard form. It's the first equation that we've seen out of the example so far that is actually properly in standard form, which is where you have x and y on the same side of the equation. So we will be working more with standard form in future lessons. And typically we take what's in standard form and rewrite it so that it is in slope-intercept form so that we can graph it more easily. So for this problem, where our equation again is in standard form, we're going to start off by getting rid of this 8x term here by subtracting 8x from both sides. So now we have -4y equals, again, these cannot be combined. These are not like terms. So this will just be -8x minus 4. Then we have one more step to solve this, which is to get rid of this -4 that's in front. So we're going to divide every single term by -4. So now we're going to have y equals, this will be 2x, and then plus 1. So everything turns positive because we have a negative divided by a negative, and then a negative divided by another negative. So y equals 2x plus 1 is the same equation as the standard form, just now in slope-intercept form.